Hey, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to All Burgundy and Gold, everything powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia. I'm Glenn. I'm joined with my co-host, George. What's up, George?
It's good to be with you. I've been looking forward to this ever since we found out who our guests were all afternoon and evening.
That's right. We got content creator and entertainer Darian Will Williams. We also have Fox Sports 1340 AM beat reporter Felix Trammell. And Wally will be joining us a little bit later. But hey, fellas, how y'all doing today? D Will, what's going on, baby?
Man, I'm so glad to be back in the building with my brothers. It's been a long off season, a lot of moving parts been going on, but we back, man, like we never left. And I'm so glad to be here, man. Appreciate y'all.
Felix, what you got going on, brother?
Man, my world's crazy, as you know, but it's football season, so I'm excited. This is life. This is a great time of year, So, but everything's good, man. I'm glad to see y'all. I haven't seen y'all in a minute, but been working hard. But it's good to see everybody on here.
Yep. And go ahead, George.
Yes. Subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, iHeart, Apple Podcasts, and all your other fine podcast platforms. Just search All Burgundy and Gold Errything. Tweet us also at ABG_Errything, 3 R's, and hit us up on IG and TikTok under the same handle, ABG_Errything. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. If you're in the chat and you want to support us, we do accept super chats and we will prioritize your comments. Also, make sure you like it and share it around. And we are also streaming live on the Urban Sports Scene X account. Glenn.
Yeah, what's up? It's time for the pregame. This is what we have on tap. Felix will share with us what he saw in the camp this week. Also, we'll talk about the Commanders unveiling their regular season jersey schedule. Training camp. Felix, training camp this week was big, man. We saw Dominique Hampton, right? Get cut, man. Thoughts on there, and what else did you see in training camp on this week that's of importance?
What I saw this week was coaches had energy, which meant players need to have energy, because the lack of, I guess we want to say, energy or passion Friday night was what was alarming. Now, wins and losses don't matter. Don't care that Patriots were in a whole other mindset trying to do something else. Washington wanted to see who was competing. That's why those 30 were let out. Who's going to compete? And we saw the ones who competed, and we saw the ones who didn't. And the ones who didn't, they got a rude awakening. And it started with Dominique Hampton. That was some very bad linebacker play Friday night. And that was something that shocked the team, because they assume that they've built some depth there. That is going to be an issue if your two studs aren't healthy. And that's something that happened last season. So you saw a lot of attention to detail. The first drill, first practice was run fit, tackling fits, and everybody was doing it. It wasn't just the defense, the offense was doing it. Everybody was working on that, with the exception of the quarterbacks and the lines. That let me know that they saw a lot on film that they did not like. And it was positional, it was effort, and you saw that the first drill out. So you saw that competition. You saw how Coach Quinn made that scrimmage. He wants them to compete, because I think the entire 53 needs to understand what it's going to take to be at the next level. We know our tops can do it. It's just knowing the 20 through 53. Can y'all do it? Because that's how Super Bowls are won. It's not by the top 15, but it's got to be the entire 53. So there was a lot more attention to that. They turned the aggression up, and they allowed the defense to turn the aggression up, the defensive line, and everybody responded accordingly. So I think that's more than anything is what we saw. That's why when I tweeted out, they tried out 7 linebackers. That's a sign. That's a sign. I saw like 15 guys come out near the end of practice. I'm like, oh, is this another team? And then they were out there working out, trying out. So you can see, and that kind of put a kick in everybody's pants. Everybody ain't able. They'll easily replace you and find somebody else.
Felix, it's interesting that you talk about that it shocked everybody, the performance and the lack of energy. Did the coaches kind of look at themselves and say, maybe we didn't go as hard as we needed to in the first few weeks, and that contributed to it? Or was it just they were shocked by the lack of energy? Because I don't know if it was Glenn who said it or Wole said it Friday night. There were guys out there who were playing like they'd already made the team. And I thought that was a great comment and pretty spot on. What's your view on that?
I'm along that. I think it was two things. I think the penalties were is just as shocking as the lack of effort or not effort from everybody, because Newton went out there and balled out. That's why they took him out. Amos did 2 series. Everyone saw what they needed to see out of Amos. They took him out. You know, Revo came out there and was setting a tone. They let him play a little bit, then they eventually took him out. So I think it was more of put those kids in the fire and see what they do. Because I'll say this, the joint practices went differently. Washington did some work in the joint practices. So don't let that whole process stay. That they focused on, they did very well. The Friday was more like you said, and whoever said it, Wole or Glenn, some of them people acted like they were already on the team and they were going to do a practice. I've seen way more aggression in practice than I saw Friday night. And that probably how they approached the game was a little different. And those younger guys who really weren't around last year didn't know how that team approached games. So I think the game prep, the game day is going to be different on Monday night versus, just how practice went, because the coaches are coaching in practice. I think it's just that game day. How does game day work versus I go out here at a 9 a.m. training camp practice and I'm done at 10:30. Like, your mind already kind of knows what I want to do. It's a little bit different when it's 7 p.m., stadium's full, lights are on, TV cameras. Now, am I competing?
Man,
I was curious to what your reaction to all that was, because this is the first time you've been on probably anybody's air since that game, and I'd love to know what you were thinking watching that.
Yeah, man, I was gonna chime in, and I love me a good analogy, but like if you look at my blurred background, I'm in a new house, but there's still a lot of work being done inside this new house, right? So I think last year, we got that new house, but we realized there's still a lot of things that are under construction, and I think a good homeowner knows that they have to continue to build within to get the type of house they want and get the type of structure that they want. So I think as they're going through this process, last year was an anomaly. Last year was great. Starting last season, nobody would have said we would have ended up where we were. And the fact that we ended there, that's a whole lot more pressure, because now you're in those conversations. You're expected to do more. And then with that, you have to get the guys in the building that can do that and with the sustained ability. And I think what you saw at that preseason game, like what you mentioned, Felix, is that it feels like it was just a lack of urgency. Like, this team has been it's been very charismatic. They've been very, they've been talked about in a great light, but unless we were the Eagles last year, you didn't do anything, right? You have to be able to come back, and you have to run it back, because last time I checked, last season was last season. That's in the history books. The Hail Marys, the big time plays, those are all in our memories. The only thing that's gonna happen is going forward, right? So you have to continue to be in a positive mindset, trying to get the guys in the building that can that can lead and that can try to duplicate and go that one step further next year.
What I want to add is you said something earlier, Felix, which is talk about the penalties, right? Now, this is something that stems from, and I know D Will said it was last year, but this penalty issue has been plaguing Washington for years, and last year as well, right? There was in the top 15 of teams of being penalized last year with 111 penalties, right? Tied with the Patriots and the Jets for being one of the most penalized teams. That's one category you don't want to be in. You don't want to be in the top 10, 15 of penalties. You want your defense in the top 15. You want your offense in the top 15. You want to be in the top 15 of takeaways, but you don't want to be in the top 15 of penalties. And I think this is where Dan Quinn has to clean some things up. I saw Paul said some decluttering. You got to declutter those guys that cost you penalties, right? Those guys that's going to cost you yards, because it may not always go the Washington's way in the game to win football games. Penalties will hurt you, and we saw that the other night. Penalties will hurt you, but also to the point of guys thinking they're making this team. This was the opportunity, and we said it on the pod last week, George. This was an opportunity for the young guys to step up, right? This was the opportunity. You had 30 to 31 players who did not play that probably make this roster, right? Last week. This was an opportunity for some of the young guys to step up. And again, guys like Dominic Hampton, who was a draft pick, Adam Peters draft pick, right? A big name. Sometimes you got to throw some people on the storage so you let other people in the house know that you're not playing, right? They're just as valuable or not as valuable as they think they are. And so you have to do some things like that, which is always a key when you're dealing with players and you're dealing with people. You have to motivate this guy. We saw a lot. I think we see much better coming up the next game. But I think when you're the Washington Commanders, last year doesn't matter. People don't know what can you do this year. This team is highly looked at as, okay, an NFC contender, right? Some people got Super Bowl. I don't have Super Bowl, but I got NFC contender, right? This is an NFC contender, and people have to realize it is a work in progress, and they have to be able to put they got a lot of pieces. Everybody got to be put in the right seat, in the right place. You know,
that's an excellent point, man.
I think on that, this is where the glaring mistakes of the last regime hurt, because the last practice I was at, I was talking with some of the other reporters, and we were like, who are the starters 25 to 28 or 25 to 27, that prime range? Mm-hmm. And we could only name 4 because they were you either have like a Jaden who's 24, about to be 25, he has nowhere near his prime, or you have guys who are 29, 30, 31. And where you build teams is that draft where that middle range, that 25 to 28, that cupboard was bare. And you hate to say it was really bare. And so with what happened last year, you achieved, the top end of the roster is good. The problem is you got to fill that sandwich. You talk about analogies, D-Will. I always go to food. If I got the meat, but I have nothing on this hamburger, the hamburger ain't gonna be good. And right now we're finding out we don't have the stuff that they think they have. So those guys those 30 that they said are going to make the roster. So this group right here, you're trying to fight for it, and you only saw a few guys that were doing that. And it was just that the realization, like, oh, we've kind of arrived. Not really. You haven't. And so you saw the Patriots who were hungrier and trying to prove a point because they're trying to start something. The Patriots have fallen apart. They're trying to start something. Washington, like you said, they have the house, but do they have all the furniture they need? Like, do they have everything they need? And so that we have to look back at that. And that's not the fault of anybody, but that can't be an excuse anymore. Like you're trying to build a top end roster while you have this phenom talent on a rookie deal. So now you're trying to do 3 things at one time when the plan wasn't probably to do that.
Nope. That's it. And you know what? I'm glad you said that, Felix, because last year was a happy accident. It was like you wasn't expecting the success, but they got the success and they got it, and they got so far. It's like, wait a second. This is normally like 2-3 years down the road, but to get it in year 1, you now set a whole new set of expectations, and you kind of accelerate the roster building process, because now you realize how this window works. And you look at it around the league, teams Super Bowl windows open and close very quick. And when you have a quarterback like Jaden Daniels on a rookie deal, you need to fully maximize it. And you also need to make sure that you're not blowing money in certain spots. I'm pretty sure we'll probably talk about later with other players, but you got to build the roster properly, and some hard decisions are going to have to be made. And I think that's what the fan base has to realize, is that you actually have a competent person making business decisions and not just working on emotion. So stuff is going to happen and it's going to hurt, but this is football. It's always business. It's never personal. But Adam Peters has a roster to build, and it can't just be for this flash in the pan. You want continued success for years to come. And while you're doing that, there's going to be some tough decisions that have to be made, but you have a good person in charge that can make those decisions. And as a fan of this team for almost 40 years, we've seen it get bad. We've seen us be terrible. I'm glad we got people in the position to help us, right the ship and have us going forward in a great direction.
Hey, so Phil, speaking of that segue into this, speaking of Adam Peters, there was a video this week, Adam Peters talking to Terry McLaurin, right?
Right.
Terry McLaurin. How, from what you heard, being around camp, being in the areas, how is negotiations going? How is Terry feeling? What do you see that most people don't see and that no one's talking about? Because it's been quiet in the media front. I know you guys see what you don't see.
Well, Terry stopped doing his WWE promos, is what I called it. Let me come out, make this grand entrance, shake some hands, and go out. And that happened for like 3 or 4 days. And it was like, okay, what's the end game here? You know, he come out, talk to his agent for 10 minutes, go sign autographs, leave. And he did it a few times, and then the trade request happened. I was like, that was his last. That was that desperation shot. That was the Hail Mary.
Yep.
There's nothing in Terry's corner anymore. That he's under contract this year. He's under contract next year. The team can franchise him the year after that. The team can franchise him the year after that. That's 4 years. He would be 34. There's no more deal. Like and let me preface this by saying I'm a big Terry guy. Remember, I was the one that had the video years ago when he cooked Josh Norman, and everybody's like, "Oh my God!" Like that was the revelation. I'm not anti-Terry. What Terry has realized is, all right, my leverage is kind of gone. This team is doing something. I'm supposed to be a leader of this team. I'm going to have to be here, and that's why he did his little holdout. He's there. He's in walkthroughs every afternoon. It's no animosity. If there was real animosity, you would not see him talking to Adam Peters. Like they would not dialogue. Like I've seen him hug the owner. I've seen him hug coaches. I've seen him talk to everybody. There's no animosity there. What the realization is now is that I'm not going to get paid the DK money. Not going to get paid the CD Lamb money because that's where the original goal was, the 32.9 to 34. That was the range. I think the realizations come on the door because he knows he needs to be there week 1. Because if you're holding out and this team takes off, let's just say they start 3-1, and Debo's being Debo, Ertz is being Ertz, Jaden's being Jaden, and next thing you know, you're sitting here off to the side. They can replace you.
Yes.
And
yes.
I think it hurts. It hurts as a fan to say that, but you can be replaced. So it's sooner rather than later. Week 1 against the Giants, he's running out of that tunnel. He's playing. Like that's going to happen. The phantom ankle injury is going to go away. Something's going to happen. And I still think it's going to be in the $28 million range with some incentives to get it to 30, 31. Like if you go out there and get 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns, then you'll make 31. But go out there and get 1,200 yards and get this many touchdowns, you'll get 32. I think that's how the deal is going to be. It's going to be one of those type deals, and they can front load it because they have decent amount of money this year. So they can do that, and all parties will feel like they've achieved something. But it'll happen sooner rather than later. But I think from the start, Terry's agent gave him bad advice.
Bad advice.
And
good God.
He approached this the wrong way. However, I do think the team could have done it last year in the season before he had that run late in the season. Because that last 4 or 5 games, including the playoffs, Terry McLaurin was here and he was on it. And that as the old phrase though, the price of the yayo went up.
Yeah.
So when you had that run also was like, hey, look at what I just did in this run. Pay me. And they're like, hey, this run had a lot to do with 5, not just 17. So that is kind of where that is. So none of this is to slander Terry. Terry's a great dude. That's why he's bad at this villain role. He should never be a heel. He would never be over. It's not in him. Like he's not. He's
Naomi
not
from he's Naomi from 10 years ago. I'd never be a heel.
Exactly. That's exactly. He's not going to be T.O. doing push-ups in his driveway. Like he's not that heel. He can't take that. He can't take that type heat. So sooner rather than later, it'll be done. And this is going to be water under the bridge because, and I've asked this question of everybody, what other competing team would Terry McLaurin be a number 1 on?
It's a great question.
Just name me one. And there's only one that's a possibility, and that would be Buffalo. And that's a slim possibility. You can't name another contending team where he would be the number 1 receiver.
Well, wait a minute. Wouldn't he be the number 1 in Kansas City?
I'm about to say Kansas City.
Better than anything they got Kansas City.
Well, Kansas City.
You said Worthy's better than
number
Terry?
1 guy. Like
what?
Terry wouldn't get those stats in Kansas City. They spread it around.
Yeah.
Wait, hold it. I'm going to disagree with you there, but among some other conventions I want to disagree with.
Go ahead.
He's never been surrounded until last year by any kind of talent. I went through this on this pod a few weeks back. The talent he's been surrounded by throughout his career has been substandard. And we're not just talking about players, we're talking about coaches, front office, everything. It's been substandard until last year. So that's where I'm going to disagree with you there. It's why I think this whole notion that he's going to fall off because he's turning 30 or 31 is balderdash. But here's another thing, because you talked about, well, they could make him play under this contract and franchise him. If you don't want to end up like the Cowboys and having to overpay everybody to stay or come, then you'll do that. Because if you do that, you will be telling players that you've drafted and players that you want to get and their agents that you can't be trusted and you won't be dealing in good faith. And you will have to overpay, even with 5 back there. That's not the way to do business, to say, oh, well, we're going to make you play. We're going to franchise in you. The way to do business is you take care of your guys. And
I disagree with you. And I want to tell you with this, and this is not –
okay.
I've seen better receiver talent do more with less. I can start with Megatron. Megatron, until he got Stafford, had nobody. Absolutely nobody. And it still took 3 people to stop him.
Yeah.
So you can even say it with Mike Evans. Mike Evans, he had Brady for a season. He had Jameis Winston. He had all this stuff, and Mike Evans was there.
Jameis Winston was still better than any quarterback Terry McLaurin had until last year.
I give you that, and he's produced with that. But NFL is not paid for what you've done league. It's paid for potential league. That's always how the NFL has been. So that whole notion of you got to do that or you got to overpay it's not reality. Now Dallas is in a worse spot because their owner, who's also the GM, is just terrible at that sort of thing. That's why they overpaid CD. That's why they'll probably overpay Mike.
They could have taken care of them earlier and they didn't.
And I agree with you.
And you got to show some good.
And I don't think he's going to fall off. So don't get me on that. But
okay.
Good business says a 31-year-old receiver is not $100 million receiver. And you can name any receiver you want to. They're not. That's just the name of the game. And I'm not saying that he's going to fall off or any of that stuff. He's not going to be that. He's just not. So Washington's not going to do that because they're not going to just say, okay, here's $110 million.
Yeah, but it's not 110. If you went 3 for 100, he would have signed it. If you went 3 for 100, he would have signed it.
He would. I mean, I've heard that they offered 3 at 95. I've heard that.
Okay. He didn't take it. Let me add this.
Now,
because
with the guaranteed money in there, that's probably the problem, George. Like, I heard 3 for 95, but I said if it was 3 for 95 and 68 guaranteed, I think he signs that. But I don't know what the guarantee was, George. So that's what I've heard, the range.
And let me add this real quick. I think this goes into the bad advice thing because we've seen how Adam Peters and the ownership group has moved throughout this whole process, and they are very calculated. I don't think they saw this request coming right now. I think they believe that Terry was going to play through, and then, or maybe I don't know if they the number that Terry was requesting. I don't think they saw that coming because, like you said, you normally don't want these problems. You don't want a distraction. You normally would take care of this. I would have thought that this regime, would have been something they could have taken care of a long time ago had Terry, came to them with the number that they had in mind. So this lets me know that they are really far apart for this to be at the point where it's at now because. I truly believe that, like y'all said, he's gotten some bad advice on what the market really is for him. And that's no shade to him because I believe he's been an amazing player, Ring of Fame.
Is it that bad advice if he wants the DK contract? Because if he's a top 10 receiver, then that's the top 10 receiver money is the DK contract, isn't it?
DK was overpaid. DK was overpaid. Now,
Pittsburgh threw too much money.
Pittsburgh threw the monkey in the wrench, and what you were saying, D. Will, like I thought, and I think their plan was they were going to extend him during this season. Like this was going to be the season they did it. Now, just for some side note on his agent, another one of his clients was Jeremy Chant, and I have some good advice. The Commanders were going to bring back Jeremy Chant. They were going to do it. They had already said, we want you back. You've been everything we want in this defense, yada, yada, yada. That deal to the Raiders caught them off guard. They were not expecting that to happen. That's the same agent. And he got a crappy deal in Vegas. It was like 1 year, $8 million. Like he would have gotten a better deal in Washington.
Absolutely.
And so at agent, that is kind of weird because they had kind of already, they put out feelers and they let people know this is working out. We plan to do X, Y, and Z. So that business was going to get taken care of, and they were blindsided by that. They were blindsided by that. So this is the same person. So I think the original plan was to get in this season and extend them in this season. Like you get them in here, get a few games. They were going to extend them there because they didn't want him to get to the last year of the deal. And then that's another PR boost. Like look at all the PR boosts they've been having. The Santana Moss Ring of Fame and the Art Month number retirement. That was going to be one of those sort of things. You get to week 5 and you're like, hey, Terry McLaurin signs 3-year yada 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 deal. Or a 2-year extension at blah, 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 85% guaranteed. Jubilation through the roof.
Everybody jubilation go through the roof. Speaking of that, and I want to ask a question here come from Paul. He says, Felix, do you think they will bring in another vet wide receiver like Odell because Noah Brown's health isn't reliable? Luke is below and the others can't get open except for Brooks.
I do think they're going to bring somebody in like Noah Brown. Now, Noah is pretty well. They're just protecting him like he's in bubble wrap. Yeah. He's in bubble wrap. So when he was out there working, he was fine. Like you couldn't even tell. Like you couldn't even tell what the injury was. I've heard the rumor of a sprained knee, but I can't confirm it because no one will say anything. But he's fine. So Debo will be there. Terry will be there. After Noah, it kind of gets a little heavy. Jalen Lane is going to be there, of course. Jalen Lane has all the potential in the world. He's a good receiver.
Yeah, I like
Luke has been just the talk of camp. Like it'll just be he looks great one day, he looks off the next. He drops passes one day, he doesn't get any balls the next. He does good on one DB. Amos doesn't let him out his hip pocket. Like it's kind of weird with him. Gallup is kind of safety if Noah Brown's not healthy. Like if something's wrong with Noah, Gallup's kind of that safety valve. But I honestly think they do go for another receiver after cut day. I think they're going to bring somebody else in just because I don't think all of these receivers quite fit Cliff's offense. And I'll say it like that. There's some guys that don't fit his style of offense. Kind of like the Diamis with the speed and the OZs with the quickness and space. I don't think a lot of these guys fit that mold. And they really wanted to be more, but he has had so many drops. And it's like, I mean, you'll see some in training. I mean, throws on the money from Jaden and some of the other quarterbacks. I mean, and just drop. I mean, it's a mental thing with him. And then he had those drops in the game. And then that next practice, he mysteriously was like, uh-oh. And then he walks off with the trainer. And I'm like, you should be in these drills, son. Like, you need to be all over it. So to answer that question, I do think they bring somebody in. I don't think Odell would be that person. But some people have asked me about Amari Cooper. Like,
yeah, I was getting ready to say that. I was going to say who is this year?
Amari probably has some more miles on his legs left than Odell does.
Yeah, Amari does.
And he's less of a.
There's going to be some good receivers cut by some of these teams because they got crowded receiver rooms, slopping over with talent.
It's better to have Amari Cooper on your side than playing against him if you're watching Commanders.
Yeah, because trust me, he slaughtered us for years.
Here's another question for you: Felix, is it true that Terry and Jaden been working out together in secret?
I cannot confirm or deny it, but read between the lines.
There you go.
Read between the lines. There we go. That's one of the ones. Read between the lines. You smell what the Rockets.
Jaden is one of the most prepared people I've ever seen play for Washington, as far as I'm concerned. It feels there's no stone unturned with that young man.
I think what people don't realize about him, and I think you see him on TV, see the games, but if you see him in practice, his mind, and he's just asking questions of everybody. Cliff, da-da-da-da-da. Tavita, da-da-da-da-da. Brian, da-da-da-da-da. Quinn, da-da-da-da-da. Bobby, da-da-da-da-da. Like he's just, it's almost like what was it, the Riddler? And when he was just stealing the information, that's what he's doing. He's just gathering all this information. And people will be like, well, Jaden had a rough practice. He's trying something. Okay, that quite didn't. This didn't. You see the next day, you come out, you're like, bam, bam, bam. He figured that out. All right, let's go to this next problem. So that's a very underrated skill. But to answer the question, read between the lines. I've been told it's happened. We can't see walkthroughs in the afternoon, but I've been told it's happened.
Got you there. Let's move on. Another question. I got a question here for Michael Underwood, and this is for both of you guys. Question for DW and Felix. Do you guys believe B-Rob will be traded by the first week, like was reported?
Go ahead, D-Will. I got a lot to say on this. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, I feel like I don't know if it'll be by week 1, but I feel like in my mind he is on the proverbial bubble. I think he has left a lot to be desired. And I think they're really going to try to see what they can get from him because, I mean, he's had an up and down tenure with us. And he'll have 2 weeks where he has this burst and he looks great. And then he has a 3 fumble game or games where he just look like he's not all the way there. So I think they're looking for more consistency in that running back position. And with having Jaden Daniels there, man, I have been saying this all last year. You guys remember this. We needed a legitimate home run threat other than Jaden Daniels, right? We needed somebody that if we can hand the ball off to them, they need to be able to have as much explosive opportunities for a big play like Jaden can have. And I think he's left a lot to be desired. He does bring that thump. He is kind of like a change of pace, but he's inconsistent. So I'm hoping to see him here because I do think he can contribute to this offense. And if we need to slow the game down and really have a long drive and giving him the ball and be consistent, I would love to see that from him. But I believe, the question is a good question because he has left a lot to be desired. But to answer that question, Mr. Underwood, I don't know if he'll be gone by week 1. I don't think we're in a position wholeheartedly to be giving away talented guys. I think he is talented. But I think, what you would get on a return for him may not be worth you moving on from him. You know what I mean? But who knows what'll happen? Adam Peters holds the keys, and I'm sure whatever he does, it's been something. It's not on emotion. It's been something they've been thinking about, and it'll be calculated whatever they decide to do with Brian Robinson, if anything.
Felix.
Brian Robinson is starting week 1 against the Giants. Ryan Robinson is starting week 2 against Green Bay. He's starting against the Raiders week 3 and on and on. Will he start at the end of the season? That is a different question. I do not believe he's traded. Like you said, D-Will, you don't trade away talent. And he's a higher level talent guy. And to be honest, no other running back at this moment is fit to be a number 1 running back right now in the league as it stands August 15th or 14th, whatever the day is. That's not to say that there's not a certain person on this roster who can be an NFL number 1 later on down the road. But today, the only person on the roster for the Commanders is Brian Robinson. Now, couple of things. The running game was hit or miss because of the 5 up front. Mm-hmm. That was not the best talent at 5 up front. And what Cliff did last year was a lot of misdirection and deception to protect that line and to protect 5, which means you have to give up something, and that is your power up front. And B-Rob's a power guy. Yeah. Like he should not be in shotgun running the ball. That's not his game. He should be behind the quarterback. Pistol, under center, I don't care what you do it. He should be coming downhill. He should not be coming across. So a lot of those things were done to protect that line, which did very well last season, and to protect 5. Because 5 can see everything coming at him, and then he can protect himself, which he did admirably during the season. So a lot of that contributed to Brian Robinson. Now, there's been a more concerted effort to run the ball now with the new offensive line, with Tunsil there, Coleman on the inside, who looks good. He is a big body on the inside. Biotish looks good now because he doesn't have to account for a guard over on one of the guards. When Cosme comes back and Connerly or Wiley, whichever, I think they're going to platoon there, you can really smash the ball. And I think that's the advantage that Philadelphia had over Washington last year offensively. Not just that they had Saquon Barkley, who's a cheat code. Their 5 up front could physically maul everybody in front of them. So Saquon Barkley is going to get his, but they could have put, they could put anybody back there. They did that for years before Saquon, and they would just move. They would move people out the way. So I think a lot of that went into B-Rob. So go back to the original question. He won't. I do not believe he'll be traded. Now, somebody throws a hero shot. Adam Peters works in the middle of the night. It can happen. Anything can happen. But I do not believe that. I believe he starts as the starting running back. But later on in the year, I do think 32. I think Bill will start to supplant him. I think he will start to supplant him. But I think B-Rob gets every opportunity to be the dominant feature back for Washington.
I'm glad you said it because that's the point. Go ahead, George. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, do we see any Bill tomorrow night, or are we going to mainly see B-Rob and like some of the other running backs?
On Monday, I think they're going to hold Bill out a little bit.
Yeah, Monday night.
No, you're good. You're good. Trust me. This weird 10-day break in preseason is just insane. I don't know what day of the week it is either. But no, I don't think you see that much of him just to protect him. Like he got a little knot, but I mean he participated in the squad. Like he's fine. But I think if the starters play, which this is the only game I believe they would play in, this will be the B-Rob carries. Eckler get a couple. Then you're gonna see the Rodriguez, McNichols, because that's the battle for that fourth running back. Will be those two guys. So those are going to be those guys who are going to get a bulk of the work because Bill's going to be on the 53.
Yeah, for sure. He got to be. Yeah.
Hey, so let's not forget this, man. Let's look at it this way too. When you talk about Brian Robinson Jr., you talk about all the things that he went through, right, to get back to this team, being shot, getting the coaching staff they had, going through Eric Bieniemy, right? that holds let's be honest. Let's be honest. Going through Eric Bieniemy, right, where he wants to throw 40 times a game and not hand the guy a ball, right? This guy has been on his roster since 2022, right? And this is a sad thing. He only has 400-yard games, right? That's it, 400-yard rushing games, right? But and I say that not to put a bad light on him, but I say that because what we talk about Terry, we give Terry a pass for all the quarterbacks he went through. He has to get a pass for all the offensive coordinators he's been through and bad offensive linemen that he's been through, right? He so in the years that he's played, he has not lived, but he's also racked up pretty good number of yards for what he has done. And so, barring injury and things of that nature, this team also got to realize too. This team was also third in rushing last year, right?
Yeah,
rushing yards, 154.1. And I know somebody said a lot of that was Jaden Daniels, but guess what? A lot of that was B-Rob as well too, right? And McNichols, right? When B-Rob was playing, there was a couple games that he carried some things on until the offensive line got beat up. When the offensive line got beat up, the rushing and production numbers went down. So let's be honest here. It's not Brian. I hate to say it ain't my fault. Some of this is not Brian Robinson's fault, right? Some of this is not Brian Robinson's fault. And I believe this regime, even though Brian Robinson is part of the old regime guy, this regime believes in Brian Robinson.
Yeah, he a Dan Quinn guy. Yeah,
he's a hard-nosed, good guy. Doesn't cause any trouble. Let's not forget, he's an Alabama guy. He's a Nick Saban guy, right? He's going to do things the right way. He's been in the pro offense since he was in college. Brian Robinson Jr. is going to be, I agree with Philip, he's going to be the starter. Now, will he be here next year? That's only on Brian Robinson Jr. because he has to perform this year if he wants to be here next year. So, again, they will do everything they can. And there's not many people out there banging the door down for Brian Robinson Jr. Let's be honest.
For sure.
Now, if it was the other Robinson, Bijan Robinson down in Atlanta, then I tell you something different, right? Right? Some people can get that mixed up. Depends on what you're smoking, but it's not that type of Robinson, So again, so you have to look at that. So again, it's not B-Rob's fault. We want B-Rob. I think most fans want B-Rob to have a great season because again, I mentioned and I say this all the time. I don't want Jaden Daniels to be the leading rusher of this football team.
For sure.
Right? Sure. Jaden Daniels can't be the leading rusher of this football team for them to go where they want to go. Right? And so I think Brian Robinson is here. Think about here. Let's be honest, guys. We talk about read the clues or read the stuff in the room. If Brian Robinson was auditioning, if they wanted Brian Robinson to audition for other teams, they would have played them last week. The 30 guys that didn't play last week were the 30 guys that's going to make this football team, right?
Yeah.
They were the guys that are going to be on this football team. So those guys that was fighting for a spot are the guys who dressed up and suited up last week and played. So that just should tell you a lot about what this organization want to do with Brian Robinson. Like I said, somebody may call in the middle of the night and may offer them a lot of money or offer them some picks, may offer them a number one receiver. I don't know. But, but Brian Robinson is not going anywhere. Wole, what's up, bro?
What's good? How y'all doing, man?
Oh, we got a full house tonight, baby. What's going on, man?
Yeah, I'm good, bro.
Wiley.
I'm glad to see my guys here, man. My guys in the building. What's good?
Hey man, I'm glad you're here, man. And just even to that point with that y'all mentioned, man, having a legitimate starting five up front, right? That making a conscious effort to get 5 good guys up front, to protect Jaden and to advance this offense. I think truly they really made a conscious effort to do that by drafting Connerly, by going to get Tunsil, tightening up the ends, and then using what you have, bumping Coleman inside, knowing that Cosme will be back at some point, and Tyler Badass, what I call him, because I think you really truly got a good 5-man rotation up front that can really attack. And I think when you get an offensive line like that, and like y'all said, man, I think that was the glaring thing against Philly. That was the thing that we saw. Like, man, you get an offensive line like that, you could beat up on anybody. You can win games late in season. So being able to transition and do that, I think that's going to really up his stock. And I think he may, he'll have a little bit more confidence knowing that he's not going to hit 2-3 yards in the backfield and have to try to make an explosive play. But sure enough, the offensive line, I think, was a great addition. And I think that's out of the other things that they have done, I think that's the one thing that they did get right this offseason.
With it. I agree.
All right. A quick question for you guys, DH and Felix, before we move on. Here it is. Here's a question right here. Y'all expect Ben Stinnett, right? Do you expect Ben Stinnett will be more involved in the offense this season? I think he has the talent to be hopefully take a step forward.
Felix, I know you get to see him when you out at camp, man. But even just on the fans' perspective, I'm hoping that he's more involved in this offense because I do believe he has talent and I think he can impact this game. And as you saw, Jaden likes to throw to the tight end. So being able to get in some mismatch centers where you may go 13 personnel or go 12 personnel, being able to get all those tight ends on the field that can pass, catch, and block. I mean, I'm hoping to see a big jump from him this year and getting him more in the offense, man.
I don't want to tell secrets, but they've been lining up with more 12 personnel, and it's been Ertz and Stinnett.
Yeah.
And I've seen them do things that hopefully you'll see week 1 because I don't want to tell secrets, but he is more involved in the offense. And Cliff is finding ways to use weapons differently. And one of the tells last year was Stinnett came on the field, it's a run, or he's a blocker. That was a tell. Like you could start to tell that. And teams did eventually catch on to that. But he can catch. He's made some good contested catches. He's faster than you think he is and he's learning from somebody who's a underrated superstar route runner in Zach Ertz.
Yeah,
I've seen Zach Ertz cook people that are 22, and I mean, bam, bam, and all of a sudden you're open. You're like, how? And that's who Ben's learning from. Like he's learning from that. Now he's not going to flex out like a Zach Ertz, but he's learning a lot better routes. This team believes in him. Everyone was kind of like, oh, they just extended Bates. You need 3 tight ends. Like this, that's the way the NFL works. Yeah. So I think they're going to use the tight ends a lot better this year, and they're going to use a lot more 12 because I think certain times they're not going to go 3 wide, which is the conventional NFL offense now. They're going to make you do something. If we're going to line up with Stinnett and Ertz, are you going to bring that extra linebacker in? Or do you want to keep that nickel corner in? Make this decision because Debo's out here somewhere. Mm-hmm. Like Jaden's back there somewhere. Yeah. And then Terry's on the other side. So now defense are going to have to declare. So that Ben Sinnett's going to have a bigger role in this offense. And I think you're going to see a lot more 12 personnel. I think that's what I can say without saying too much. but it's going to be involved in that. And I saw a lot of different looks from the formation because it's going to make the defense have to declare what they want to do.
It's crazy because I like Ben. I mean, I like Ben Simmons when they drafted him. I ain't think they should draft him that early, but I did like him. I liked him because I saw him against Michigan, so I've seen him before. And I liked him. I just liked him in Kansas State too. I just felt like what he brings to the table is physicality. He did truly remind me of Chris Cooley when I watched him in Kansas State. There is physicality. He catches the ball. He's hard to bring down. And to what Felix's point, I agree. That's where I was like, I feel like if he fails, it's all on him, right? Because I feel like you get to learn from Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz is one of the best tight ends to play in a long time. Like in his era, he's one of the best tight ends to ever, like in his era, right? Because of his longevity. And we saw it here as Washington Redskin fans. Like I'll use that.
Cook us, boy. He's the cook us.
He used to give us the business. You know what I'm saying? So, like, to me, like, you just can learn from that. And to Felix's point, he's still doing it. He still gets open. Like, is he as athletic as he was when he was younger? No. You know what I mean? But he can still get open. He's a guy that knows he knows NFL defense. He knows how to find spots. He knows leverage in terms of running routes. He is one of the better, like, in terms of traditional tight ends, guys who can, to the point where you can't tell what he can do. He can still block for a tight end, and he can still run. He can run routes. And to me, if you're Ben Simmons, you got to be to that man, be on that man's hip. You know what I mean? And if you're doing that, I feel like, and you're doing that, and you're willing to learn, you're only going to be better because I do believe that the Senate has the skill set to be a really good tight end in the NFL.
Cool. Hey, real quick, Roy J406, man, appreciate you for the super
Roy,
chat.
I appreciate you.
Shout out, man.
Roy,
Appreciate you. And also, we saw your question, Roy. Yes, you are correct. Terry McLaurin is on his final contract this year, and not 2 years from now. Is this year? He's on the final contract, so the Washington Commanders could technically franchise him after this year and next year. They can give him the Kirk Cousins treatment if they want to, right? They could give him the Kirk Cousins treatment if he wants to. But here we got another question here from my man Mike. All right, Wolick Felix said the same as I did of Terry. Could be franchised. We talked about that. All right, we got that, Mike. Here we go.
Franchising Terry.
Can I bring something to y'all?
No, it's just an option, right? Because no one knows. We know. Felix talked about how the.
I would love it. I would love it. I mean, any which way, but you still paying more. Like, what's the average on that? That's what.
Top five. It'll be the top five of the.
So that's like
the
over
salaries
30, right?
That position.
Over 30.
Hold on, I gotta pull it up. They sent out the franchise,
and that will go up next year. That will be more that next year than it is this year.
Felix, while you're looking that up, I want to ask a question to the room and to the chat. Has this Terry situation kind of perplexed you as a fan? Like, I think we didn't expect this from Terry. And it was always one of those things where we just assumed that, he would just get paid, right?
Oh.
I think it was assumed, that he would just get paid. And I think this thing is kind of crazy because I don't know what's the real asking price. Like, I don't want to believe that Terry is asking for something ridiculous, or the team is being too much of a, too tight and just like not willing to bend at all. So it's like, without having those details, it's like I don't even know what side to fall on. But I like I said, we talked about it earlier. I think we know it's going to work out. But it's just a weird feeling because out of all people, you wouldn't expect Terry to be involved in something like this. You know what I mean? From my opinion.
I can tell you this much. I mean, I just believe in NFL business. I just feel like the business is the business. So I don't really, nothing surprises me. You know what I mean? Like, when you're negotiating, you're negotiating. I said it before, like, if he didn't get his money, like, before training camp, he's holding out. He's holding out thoroughly. You know what I mean? I said this off the rip. Like, I felt like the best, it's crazy. I feel like, depending on what you want, you would have been better if you really wanted to, like, nip this in the bud. You could have did this earlier, and then you wouldn't have to worry about him bidding against, a DK. It could have been done earlier. It could have been, but that's neither hindsight 20, whatever. It's like the same. But I mean, it's business. I ain't mad at any side, to be real with you. Like, I think I get more I get more mad at fans like trying to like diminish Terry than anything. But I'm not mad at either side because it's still business. Like you look at Adam Peters, like you're gonna try to like get what you can get out of the deal. Like you're not gonna try.
And it doesn't feel like it's in a bad spot either. Like none of this seems contentious, so that's why I'm okay with it.
That's a good point.
But it's business. Like it's still business. Like if Terry, well, you're gonna look at DK. Like that's natural. If I feel like I'm better than somebody and they getting paid more than me, I'm gonna ask for that money. Like that's natural.
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't feel like Trey Hendrickson.
No, it's not Trey Hendrickson. D. Will. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so like DK is the same draft year, so that's going to be his marker.
Exactly.
That's going to be his marker because he sees that. Now, just looking at the numbers, this year the franchise tag for receiver is 23.9. Terry's making almost that now. Next year is projected to be 28. That's the offer right now.
Oh, you better get that. Yeah,
so like,
franchise. You don't be franchise, bro.
If you play it out and get franchise, this is the 28 you're being offered.
Yeah.
Like this. I mean,
so it's like how much more than that is he looking for?
That's why I'm like the DK deal messed up everything.
That's what it is.
That man is trying to get as much as he can get.
Messed up everything because everybody knew Chase was going to get this
exactly.
Go ahead. So Chase is in the stratosphere. Don't worry about Chase.
Yeah,
Justin got 35.
Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I agree with George. The Cowboys overpaid CD, but CD's at 34. You can justify CD around that range.
Yeah, exactly.
No, now you start to get to like the Garrett Wilsons of the world.
Yes.
And they're paying him off of what he could be because he's been playing with dirt or whatever you want to say.
Right. And he's still a youngin'.
He gets this hilariously high number when he's had better quarterbacks than most of those, been on better teams than most of those, and have worse stats than most of those. So as Terry, I would be like, hey, yo, like DK's got this.
Yeah.
Like I get Terry's play. But if you look at this business side of it with the franchise tags, that's what he's making now. That is what they offered him next year, right now. So like, and you won't get that money until that year that you would get the franchise of 28.
Two things I want to. Good. Two things I want to bring up. George, you had a point. Go ahead, George.
Go ahead, George.
Yeah, D-Will, there was one thing that did perplex me about all this. If really the opening offer from Adam Peters was $23 million a year, I think that's insult. Honestly, that's a you slapped me in the face with a glove and now we're gonna fight over it kind of deal. I if that really was the first offer, I got a problem with that. I got a serious problem with that.
That's like some Rick James type stuff. I feel you.
No, it's like the old knights around the table when they take the glove out. You have insulted me, sir. Wow.
I know.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. On the battlefield, that kind of thing, and it just if that was what happened, if they really did say we're going to come to you and offer you $23 million per, when his original with the contract he's on is $21 million per. I would have a bit of an issue with that. I'd actually more than a bit. I'd have a big issue with that because I think it's you're sending the wrong message. That's why the whole they can just let him play this out and tag him next year. That's not a way to go do. In my opinion, that's a bad way to do business in this league. But
if Terry was smart, it makes sense. Like if like Felix, how you said, if Terry was smart, he would just all right, wash your hand. I'll ball out again this year, and if we can't come up with a deal, you tag me, and I'll be getting paid what the top 5 will be getting paid.
Then
anyway.
I would say
then we're right back here next year because honestly, he should hold out next year if that's what happens.
I would disagree. I wouldn't disagree with that. The only reason I would disagree with that is because the market's set, right? And if you trust your quarterback, as an individual, that's like as the individual, right?
Right.
If I believe in my quarterback. Because now I have a quarterback. I have one of them, and now I can put these stats up consistently. Now I'm devalued. I'm devalued. If I truly believe in my ability, and I'm gonna put up numbers now, like I put up numbers for trash. You saw what I did last year. You gave me one of them. I gave you double-digit touchdowns, and I got my yardage. You know what I'm saying? And that's not even the best of, and the best to come for that young man. When he starts to really get tap in. With him, my numbers are going to be better. So if my numbers are better, for me, I'm gonna speak for me as a person. Me personally, I can't justifiably say DK Metcalf, you get more than me, even at the 28. Like, I'm gonna be mad personally, me. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
but you gotta also understand the situation, though. You understand the situation. You gotta understand the situation, understand the team. Pittsburgh was
money's money. Money's money, though. I'm like,
Pittsburgh's different.
Yeah, but money's money. Like, like, we're playing for money.
Pittsburgh's
like,
gonna be cooked for that deal, by the way.
Yeah, they are. But this is my last This is my last big contract too. This is my last big contract.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I gotta get my money.
How big do you expect this contract to be?
You don't take look. At the end of the day, you got where this is the NFL. It's not.
No, I agree with you. I agree with listen, I agree with you, and I'm always gonna be on the player's side. But at what point do you realize, like, bro, like, am I overcooking my chicken? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think because we don't know what the numbers are, there are a lot of questions. There are a lot of, like, you know, how about if we find out after the fact they was arguing over $2 million? Like, and it's not the case, you know what I'm saying? But like, we don't know.
I don't believe that
if it's $2 million, Terry looking petty if he's not taking $2 million. Real quick. Well, shout out to you, Paul. Thanks for the super chat, man.
Shout out,
Appreciate it.
I don't believe it's that. I believe it's the guarantee, and I truly believe it's the guarantee. I don't think that it's. I still think 3 years, $95 million is the target point.
Yeah,
is it 70 guaranteed? Is it 50 guaranteed? I think that is where the contention is. And I believe that's where they haven't gotten to yet. Because do we give 75 million guaranteed, versus 65 guaranteed? Because you're never going to get to that. Everyone knows you're not going to get to that number. That number doesn't exist unless you're Kirk Cousins, and Lord knows how that keeps happening. But for everybody in reality, no one gets to that number. So
Kurt loves the Lord, man. Kurt loves the Lord.
His agent is the GOAT.
It's the GOAT, bro.
Hall of Fame, that guy. He's great.
That man,
I don't know how.
That man roster better be better. Better be like that. That man roster better be like that.
He needs to do a book, do a class or whatever. But I think it's the guaranteed money, and I think that's where the contention is. I don't think it's the years, and I don't think it's the total amount. I think it's the guaranteed money, and I think that's where something's going to have to give. And I've already said that you do 3 for 95, and you front loaded this year because you have no one else to pay this year. Because next year you're going to have to pay Tunsil and Louisville. They're next.
Mm-hmm.
Those are your next ones, and then you got some of these on 1 years that you got to decide what you're going to do.
Sure.
And then we know the one that's lurking in the wind.
Yeah.
When we're talking close to half a billy. When that one comes up. Yeah. So you got Tunsil, you got Louisville next, then you got a couple others before you get to the big one. So I always said front loaded this year, and then let it de-escalate, let it scale down as others have to pop up. But I think it's the guaranteed money, not it's 26 million versus 27. I think it's the guaranteed money. That's the holdup.
Here's another take, which is different, man, from John Bellamy. The reason they are not playing Terry is because he believes that because of the end of last season, Terry hurt his ankle, and for 7 months, his ankle is still hurting him. They don't want to pay him going, and he can't perform.
Terry did hurt his ankle at the end of last season. Terry did OTAs and he was fine.
Yes.
Some narrative there.
There was time to rectify that. That ankle he played through, and it was a sprained ankle. Bobby Wagner had a real bad one. We legit did not think he would make it to Tampa.
Mm.
And then we did not think he would make it to Detroit. And nobody knew. Love this regime. Nobody knew. But Terry's ankle was injured last year. Now, I do not think it was an injury that plagues him now. Honest to God, and I'm not a doctor. I'm not any of that. But with that ankle injury he had then, should have healed up a long time ago.
Yeah.
In my honest belief. If something happened and he tripped when he was on a vacation or something, that's totally different. But the Terry I've seen walk out and do his WWE promos, is all healthy.
Everybody's watching Vince, baby. Everybody watching.
Felix, answer this too. He said he put him on a pub list. Explain to him what that meant. What that
They
was.
put him on the pub list so he doesn't get the $50,000 fine for not being there.
Thank you.
I just want to make sure.
That's all. That's all that's about. So
Yeah.
That's all.
They looked
did
out
that,
for him.
so that's a good faith. Like for
Yeah.
George was saying, the contention of that's a good faith move. We'll put you
Yeah.
here. We'll
That's
put you
true.
on the pup.
Yeah.
You're not fine. Let's work it out. That's a good faith move because if you just not there, that's $50,000 a day. Now
Yeah.
Terry might got it for $50,000 a day. I'm gonna be there at 5:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, let's go. But
Okay.
John, to hit your point, that's kind of the protection sort of thing to be like, we're not gonna fine you. You're here. Let's have you here because it's easier to negotiate with you being in the building than you not.
Yeah.
Hey, Glenn, what question Mike got for me? He said answer a question. You want me to answer what
Oh,
question?
here.
What is he talking about? What are you talking about?
Is it this one? Is this one that?
That's pod. I mean, I got my receipts always, bro. I don't know
Receipt
that.
pod.
Y'all know me. I got my receipt pod. That's happening. Like I'm frying all y'all. Y'all already know that. So what we talking here?
Hey,
CBS receipt.
What we doing here?
hey, George, you got something before we go move on?
No. I was just saying when the Wale has a receipt, it has a receipt pod. It's going to be a CBS receipt. It's going to be one of these. Unfurl that sucker out.
I'm petty and vengeful, man. Y'all.
Hey, look, the Socrates scroll type deal.
Right.
Yes.
Jericho, you just made the list.
Oh, I said that too. Oh, they on the list. Oh.
Armbar.
I've used that. I've used that gift already.
Man of 1,000 holes. Armbar.
Hey, so Washington Commanders, they unveiled their uniform schedule this past week, right? The uniform schedule this week. I want to get you guys' opinion on this. The Monument White will be a week 1, week 4, week 5, week 8, week 11, week 14, week 15, and week 18. The Legacy Burgundy will be week 2, week 3, week 7, week 10, week 6. The Super Bowl era uniforms that we saw, they brought back will be week 9, week 13, and week 17. And the Battle Black is yet again, they always like wearing this black against Chicago, right? And I see this when they wore the black against Chicago last time, right? We got the Hail Mary, but the time before they wore that, it wasn't a good look, right, from the last regime. But again, do any of these games stick out, and do any of these uniform colors stick out for you guys? Because I have the stats real quick. I'm gonna run through the stats of this.
Ooh, you got
team.
stats, the jersey stats?
Yeah, I got the jersey
Lord.
stats, man.
I
I got jersey stats. A little bit of work behind the scenes, right?
Dive. I like that.
I literally work behind the scenes. Hey, when they wore the Battle Black in 2023, they was 0-2, right? And 2023, when they wore the Monument in White, it went 1-1. Didn't have the burgundy leg.
What happened? You froze.
Oh.
You
Yeah,
froze.
he
Bro.
froze.
You was on a roll. There you go. You back now. You back.
Now you good. You good.
In 24, the Battle Black, they went 2-0, right? 2-0 with the Battle Black in 2024. We know one of those was a Hail Mary game. And Monument in White last year, they went 5-2, right? 7 games they wore the Monument in White, they went 5-2. And with the Legacy Burgundy, they went 5-3. With the Legacy Burgundy 5-3 last year. So, guys, thoughts?
I just want a Super Bowl. I want my Super Bowl jerseys. That's all I care about.
Listen.
I want the blacks more.
Really?
That's just me.
Okay.
I'm to the point where if it's a night game, I want the black.
Yeah.
That's just me. There's something about that black. I think there's a picture like Jaden and them walking out of the tunnel in the black, and you see the visor. Like, I wanted them to wear that against Atlanta, but the white and burgundy combo, that was the combo through the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like they wore it in Tampa, won. They wore it in Detroit and won, and they wore it in Philly and was up or right there.
Yeah.
But like, they made a run in those. So I would kind of do less of the burgundy ones for me. I would do a little bit more Super Bowl era, but I like the games they're doing it for. That's like that Christmas game against Dallas.
That's beautiful.
When they come out in those, that's gonna be something. But I kind of just want the blacks a couple more times because it's different, it's refreshing. Like the team just looks more menacing. Like it's just more menacing in those black, and when the lights hit them, it's just something about them. Like that made that Hail Mary just a little bit more special. And you see Jaden running around in the all black, and that would be my only thing. I would wear the blacks a little bit more, but you can only do with the alternate, the NFL, stupid rules, whatever. But I think I would do the blacks a little bit more, but that's just me.
I like the fact that we have more jersey options and more different combinations that we can do. I think, man, and people hate on the monument white joints, man.
They're
But
hating on
the
right now.
white
They
is
hating right
smooth,
now.
bro.
They
I know they
hating
hate
right
them, but it's
right
okay
now.
because let me tell you what.
Diamond white's boring.
Let me tell you, your core memories are associated with this jersey. In 10 years, when you think about this run that we're on, I mean, you're gonna see a lot of these white jerseys, in the picks. I think the Super Bowl unis, of course, they're gonna be hot. I'm with Felix on that. I like the blacks more, but even with the burgundy, man, I think that the burgundy is slick. You got a couple options where you can go gold pants, you can go burgundy pants, you can go white pants. You got a couple different things you can do. And I just think, man, at the end of the day, when we win in ball games, we're gonna look good in everything, man. I ain't even gonna hold you, man.
That's facts. Oh, I'll say this one more thing. There's in practice, they wear burgundy. Sometimes defense will wear burgundy with black, and it's like
I need that.
Burgundy.
I need that.
That looks fire. Like you see the DBs with that burgundy and the black, and it just Louisville will wear it. It's like this is kind of dope. Sorry, just throwing that out there.
And I'm with you, Felix. I want more black unis, and I want us coming out to the Imperial March from Star Wars when we do it. That's. I mean, I love the black. I know I'm not. I guess I'm not alone on this, but I was one of the few. The black uniforms were always number one for me when they did the new ones, and so
they hot, man. I loved them when they first came out.
We're only doing it once, and they're the best looking ones we got.
Hey, but I'm like this, man. I'm like Paul. Get rid of the monument white and keep the Super Bowl era black where it wants.
Yes.
Well, they gotta ease into that,
Paul.
man. They
gotta ease into that. They just gotta have it. They don't even gotta ease into it. They just gotta have it.
They're going to ease into it.
That needs
the burgundy ones are showing.
Why we gotta ease? Hey, why we gotta ease into it?
Hey, listen.
Why we gotta ease into it? Why? Why?
You can't.
Sometimes you gotta go hard at skip over. Let me stop.
Hey, look. Hey, Casey and JoJo got a song, man. It's called "Don't Rush."
Don't rush.
Gotta ease into it.
I know it's late night. I had to stop myself.
Hey,
the word. I see you saying that word across the front.
Hey, I'm like this, man. I think I'm a traditionalist sometimes. I know everybody likes black. Just the Super Bowl era to me is the ones that you need to wear, right? Because that identifies what this team is. People remember this team from that. I know we haven't had a lot of different variations in the past years. So I think that one is the one that people can recognize and say, you know what? That's the Washington Redskins. That is the one that people, well, in my era, right? Kids these days, because, in my era, kids these days go here with the burgundy or they go with the black, right? This team until last year wasn't great in the black. And I said this on the show several times. Until last year, they didn't win in black, right? So we got 2 good games in the black.
We can't hold Ron Rivera against those unis, though.
I mean, we lost plenty of games in them Super Bowl era joints too. Now, like,
sure
did.
But
they was wearing them majority of the season.
As a quantifier.
Why we gotta do that? Why we gotta do that?
Why we
gotta talk about old stuff?
They was wearing them at the crib and on the road.
So, but I mean, I get what Glenn's saying. The traditions, the old school, that generation. But I do like I said, I do like the mix up. But I don't mind having Super Bowl black.
I ain't gonna lie.
Right. Like, I don't mind it. Like, it's kind of cool that, we look different. Like, you don't have to be. And I'll say this because my college, they're a traditionalist school. Texas has 2 uniforms. And I like that. But then I also like that Washington has more than 2. Like, it's okay to do that. Like, Texas is never going to wear nothing other than white or orange. Ever, in life.
And they shouldn't, by the way. And they shouldn't either.
But Washington, I think, because you do have the reband, don't start name change talk. That's cool. But you can add stuff to it and still have stuff from the past. Like, you can do both. Like, that's okay. Like, have the Super Bowl joints. I do think next year they'll bring the burgundy Super Bowl era ones. And I think eventually that takes over. But I still throw those whites in there. The whites don't look bad. They don't look bad. Like, maybe a stripe on the pants, but they don't look bad. And like I said, you talk about history. That was the playoff run, was in those uniform.
Yeah, I would say this
is the run, like, from Philly on. After Philly, they wore that white, and they wore that white with that burgundy, and they went on a run.
I would say this, in terms of, like, we just talking about what look clean and look mean. I mean, yeah, the black joints are sexy. I ain't gonna hold y'all.
Yeah.
Like that's.
Black is
I mean,
beautiful.
I was just mad that we was losing them things. I was getting pissed.
Right,
Personally, I
that's
was
what made
like-
it worse.
That's what made it worse. But you, I mean,
Some
like,
joints is good.
they were
Now you
clean.
got some dogs behind that black.
So
Totally
now,
different.
so I went from last year. I went from they cursed till like last year when they was winning. I was like, yeah, them things like
Think
that.
about it too. Think about it too with all the stadium upgrades with the lights and the music and everything. You win them black, the black come out, man, sweet, bro. Like I ain't gonna hold you, man. I love them black jerseys, man. And like we said,
Yeah,
talking
nah,
about core
they nice.
memories, they are attached to an immediate
And
core memory. Of
I'll
that
say
Hail
this:
Mary.
what Glenn said, they're wearing it against the Bears to be petty.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
It's a real petty, and I think that's a kind of cool rivalry to bring back because for us older folk, we remember the Bears. That was a game. That was a rivalry.
That was game. That was
Like
game.
now that you have, Caleb is that one and Jaden was that two, and they meet up. Now that's that rivalry, and you kind of put Chicago in their place. Like we got the better guy.
Yep.
We got the better team. Like I bring it up. My boss is a Chicago fan. I've got the picture and I put it on his wall. Noah Brown catching the ball.
Petty.
He was there. I did that to be petty. Like that's a rivalry we can have back, and I think that would be.
And then
really
Bears
important in
fans
Chicago.
just won't. They will not shut
won't
up.
let it
They
die.
keep talking.
And I think Washington
Felix.
is doing that just to turn the screw just a little bit more.
You would think we're in the NFC North, the way how the Bears fans talk about us, bro.
They talk about us, yeah.
They talk about us more than they talk about
And
Detroit,
then-
Minnesota, or Green Bay.
And then when they
That's
found
true.
out, when Jaden finally said that, oh yeah, I did that with a broke rib, made him matter. It made him matter. Like,
Hey, Bear fans always go
and
back
I
to the
was-
19. Bear fans always go back to the 1940 championship game, and that's why it's a 73
73-0. Okay,
33-0 game. That's what
They
Bears
ran the
want
sweep?
back to.
Yeah, I
Right.
about that too, right?
because they ran the
Right.
sweep.
Student body right and left.
They came out with the toss sweep, and Washington had Sammy Ball had nothing to do with it. I understand.
No, that's where that song. That's where that song comes from. When they talk about thrilling the nation with their T formation, they did that against the old Redskins. That's when they debuted it.
Yep.
It's a shame. Hey, Felix, I appreciate your pettiness, man. It's like it's something that it warms my heart. I'm not gonna lie to you. I appreciate that.
How about the white top gold pants?
I appreciate that, bro.
Now I would like to
That's
see
70s
that.
era.
I ain't gonna lie.
wouldn't mind that either.
I would like to see the monument white jerseys. Throw the gold pants in there. For whatever reason, it sticks out of my mind with Jason Campbell.
I know.
Playing the Giants with those joints, man. Like I would like to see that.
It's crazy. I feel like didn't Stephen Davis rock them joints too back in the day? I feel like he did.
Stephen Davis. I remember.
I feel like he was. Maybe I was wrong. I feel like
they had the Jason Campbell era, like 2005, 2006.
Moss
Santana
wear those,
Moss.
did he? Did Moss
Yeah.
wear those?
Moss did.
Yeah,
Moss
Santana,
did with
yeah.
those
Because they wore
Santana.
them with RG3 year too.
Yeah, they did.
They wore
rocked
them
them
a
with
couple
RG3.
times.
Yeah, they rocked them with RG3. You're right. They did.
Oh, Doug said prediction mixed with a question.
He was talking about Felix. What Felix said earlier.
Yeah, it's all good. So, I think the black is what I'll be interested to see. And I got to look it up. I'm a research guy. I want to see which one of these jerseys sell the most. Right? About the merch.
Oh, black one's definitely going. That black.
I'm about the merch. Right? The merch sales.
I couldn't even get one. I barely got one for my son. Like
the
black
ones are definitely
the black
It's,
Jaden was impossible to find.
Yeah.
And when the
It's
new
fire.
football era dropped, you'll never find Jaden.
Yeah, you'll never find that one. That one's too mean. It's too clean. I'm not gonna lie to you. In terms of if you're talking about the look, it's too clean.
Oh, it's clean.
That whole hype video was just like, oh my God.
That too, yeah.
And y'all are wrestling guys. Y'all understand this out of anybody is that the more merch you have, the better it is. Every time you get a new push, if I got a new slogan with a new t-shirt, yes, I want to be able to sell that. So I think more jersey options having it's great for them. And I do like the blacks because it's a different, it's a truly different. I love the blacks. It's a truly different jersey. It's not just a color. It's not just a black color swatch on the jersey. It's an actual different jersey. That's kind of why I like the black uniforms as well. It's a completely different vibe, completely different feel. It's really special.
I was with you, D. Will. Well, they just being petty.
He showed up late with his arms out, looking like, looking all fresh.
Hey, yo, chill out.
Hey, Mike got a question here, man. I'm gonna put Mike's question up.
Paul said, "Clean your language."
Hey, Mike said, "What color jersey? What color jersey should they open up when they should they wear at the opening of the new stadium when they start opening the stadium?"
Super Bowl era.
That's a good one. I like that.
5, 6 years,
I
man,
think
they
walk
made
out
up
with the Super Bowl era
a whole new set of
in
jerseys.
2030.
Man.
Jaden walks out in the Super Bowl era jersey.
As maybe talking about our I would love to open that new stadium coming off a Super Bowl victory. The Chris in the new building. It's a beautiful.
Let's have one before we get in that.
No, we're gonna
at least have one.
Listen, George, we're gonna have Super Bowls to talk about here. In the next
RFK is being demolished as we speak. If you ain't seen it yet, RFK is starting to go down. Right,
Mm-hmm.
bulldozers over there. Stuff is taking it down. Before we get you guys out of here, man, it's been a great show. We talked about the jersey. We talked about what we saw at camp. A lot of information was given. Guys, anything else in the people in the chat? Any more questions or comments for Felix or D. Will? Hit them up real quick, but we gotta get ready to get out of here.
I gotta eat something. I gotta eat, man. I haven't eaten all day. I'm eating like pistachio.
Look at you.
But I'm excited about the jerseys though.
Let me do this before we get out of here, man. Y'all know I've been doing a whole lot this off season.
Yeah.
I've been going into my stand-up career. So I got another gig coming up August 26th, Tuesday, at Piano Keys in Brandywine, Maryland. You can come see me and a vast array of other comedians, hosted by comedian Mike Brooks, man, DMV legend, great dude. I'll be going on as well, man. So it should be a good time. So if y'all in town, please come to see. It's a free event. It's an open mic, man. Come out, enjoy yourself, but come hang out, man. Tuesday, August 26th. Be doing some stand-up, baby.
May I just add that D. Will really does it all because singer, comedian, impressionist. He can even preach a sermon for you. He really does do it all.
Hey, he walk in church and D. Will's preaching a sermon, walk out.
He does it in his Deion Sanders voice.
Listen, baby, I know everything has been going crazy at times, but we are back, baby. My baby is playing. He's a quarterback. My baby is shallow, man. He's grown, man. He's out there. He's doing his thing, baby. Hey, man.
I'm not messing with him, dog.
Dope, man. Dope, bro. Dope. My man D. Will is dope.
Here's the Lex got a question before we get out of here. If Super Bowl era white and burgundy becomes the two primary, black as one alternate, what do you make the second alternate?
The burgundy ones that we have now, maybe.
I think they
or
the
white with the gold
get
pants.
those 75 era throwbacks. Remember the spear?
Yeah.
Clinton Portis era.
I got a jersey. I got the 75 jersey with that.
I think that will become the alternate because it's a burgundy jersey, like George was saying. So you have the white, Super Bowl era white, the Super Bowl era burgundy, the black, and then you go get that older one that had the spear. Of course, you probably can't do the spear, but have those colors.
The leather helmet look. I'm not opposed to that either. I like those.
I like the 2012 RG3 one.
Yeah.
I like those
with the jersey.
The jersey, I like those.
I like those. Yeah. So I think it's somewhere in there.
You got options.
George had a good joint with the burgundy. I agree with that.
You got plenty options, man. One thing I would say, man, through the team, through its history, they've had some, a lot of different types of jerseys. So I think every year you might get another option to bring another jersey up. And as they continue to expand that rule with the alternate jerseys of how often you can wear them and how many you can have, along with the helmets, I'm definitely feeling another new helmet is on the way next year. Or the year following, where they'll be able to mix and match even more.
Definitely. Hey, with that being said, hey, great show tonight. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for the content. Thanks for the information. Any closing thoughts from the panel? Anybody got anything that's burning? Any closing thoughts before we get up out of here?
I like DH love the blacks too.
I'm glad you like the blacks, D-Will.
Hey, the afternoon kick is coming back too, man.
Awesome.
Rio Robinson and myself, man, coming back real soon with the afternoon kick. It's gonna be Fridays this year, so buckle up, man. It's a whole lot going on. Now that I'm situated, man, I can really get rolling again. But afternoon kick with Rio Robinson and myself coming back on Fridays this season.
Cool. Hey, Felix and D-Will, man, how can folks catch you on social media and catch all your content?
Go ahead, D-Will. You the superstar.
Hey, D Will does it all, man. Everywhere. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. I'm getting into my my home improvement phase 2 on all those other platforms. So check it out, man. I'm trying to get Lowe's to come sponsor me. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be a good time. But hey, check me out. D Will does it all everywhere, man. And let's have a great season, guys. I'm excited, man. I'm ready to see what we're gonna do, how we're gonna follow up from last year. But D Will does it all on all platforms, man.
I ain't going over your house. You're gonna make me do stuff. I see hard work about that. But you can follow me. I don't know why I put Blast Commander and IB Commander. It's been a long day. 2407. Yeah. I'm still doing my work for 1340 AM Fox Sports as long as they have me. I'll be around. I'll be going to Madrid. I'm going 3 or 4 away games. I'm doing all those things. So I'll be there to give you my version, my sights, what I see. That's all I ever give is what I see. Those who congratulated me again on getting that promotion, I appreciate it. If you're ever in town and you want to see the Remember the Titan School, Alexandria City is that school. Come support. Come see the blue turf. Yeah, we got a blue turf field. You know, we do everything. I tell them we're the SEC, but come through there, support the kids. We got really good kids, but you can catch all my content there, and you can catch all my content on IG. And I'll be hanging with Wole. I'll be hanging with Glenn. You'll see me. I'm always on X. Ask a question, something you want me to see at practice, something you want me to ask any of the players. Just let me know. That's what I'm here for.
Gotcha. Yeah. Hey, one question, Roy. After we be in Atlanta, ATL.
I'm definitely going to Atlanta. Everything's booked. I will be there.
I mean, that's a must.
Yeah, I gotta go. And just a side note, that's one of the stadiums that the Harris Group are looking at and building the one at RFK. Like Atlanta is a top-notch stadium. If you ever can get there, go there and see that facility. That's an amazing facility.
And concession prices are normal prices down there.
Hey, Glenn, I took my family when Texas played in the Cotton Bowl. Yeah. I bought like a whole bunch of food. It was $20. I looked at the man like he was crazy. I was like, "You sure?" I was like, "Is it like $20 for the plate?" Nah. It's the best of both. Right. Hey, $5 beer, you can't beat me there.
There's a question for you. Hey, Paul wants you to ask Amos to let up on Luke.
Don't worry, he'll let up on when they let Luke go.
Amos is a elite corner. He's going to be an elite corner. He is sticky without being grabby. And that's the best way I can describe him. He is physical and sticky, but you never see him using his hands. So it'll be that. Michael's coming for you, Wole. So
he always comes for me. That's my guy. Boy, he'll never go under my skin. You know what I'm saying? We just have a good time.
Hey, Felix, why I heard Booker T when you said that.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, hey, subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, another podcast platform. Just search All Burgundy Gold. Everything. Also tweet us up at ABG_everything. You hit us up on IG and TikTok at ABG_everything. Make sure you subscribe to our All Burgundy Gold and All Burgundy Gold YouTube channel as well. And once again, like this video. Hey, appreciate you guys. Thanks for rocking with us. And we'll make sure we have the post and pregame Monday night, right? Washington Commanders playing Cincinnati Bengals at 7 p.m. And we also have the post game following. All right, follow the game. So make sure you check us out there as well. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and make sure you share this with somebody else. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. We are out. Peace.